AI is turning the world beige, and this is a huge problem for me because if you know me, like if you just came into my office, I mean, I got color all over the place, BB-8, and look at, I mean, I even have colorful Jesus over there. Now, one of the reasons that the AI is turning the world beige is this: people have never really found their true voice, and yet they've discovered that they can now create content at scale. The problem is if you're creating content at scale, but you never figured out your voice, how you actually want to show up and how you want to stand apart in the world, then everything you make is going to sound the same. AI isn't designed to make you into something that you're not. It can only work with what you are and what you give it. You can borrow prompts, you can borrow skills, you can pay for the courses and the classes to help you out. But if there's no human beauty going into the content that you create, then there's going to be no human beauty coming out of the content that you create. And that's my biggest criticism of the whole flood of AI content, the oatmeal slop. It's just magnifying a world that was already kind of boring in many ways. So what do you do about that? Well, if you're in business, I want you to stop asking yourself, how do I differentiate myself as a business person? And I want you to ask yourself what you actually want to accomplish. And then do this. Go back to two memories, not from business, but from a time when you were a teenager, maybe in high school or junior high. And the first one, I want you to think about a time that you felt successful. It doesn't matter whether it was chess club, sports, finally landing that person that you had a crush on, anything that made you feel like you won. And I want you to write it down, journal it out, do as much details as you possibly can. Now, the second memory is I want you to think about a time that you failed, and I mean really failed. It could be with your family or with a friend, with yourself. It could be with a diet. It can be anything. But I want you to write out how it felt. I want you to write the words that you'd use to describe that to somebody else. Now, the reason I want you to do that is this. I want you to then take those feelings, the actual words that you use for them, and hold them up against the messaging that you're using to attract clients, your positioning, your website, the way you blog, all of it. And instead of reaching for that business language, what if you use the language of a teenager, the emotion of a teenager, the angst of young love? What if you use those words to build your positioning and your messaging? You tell AI, this is the feeling that I want, and suddenly it can do far more for you. It can actually make you stand out because you've handed it the ingredients that it actually needs. So we have to stop expecting AI to supply the part that was always ours to supply. Now, sure, you can type, make this more emotion filled. You can absolutely do that, but you're far better off not doing that. Instead, say something like, Claude, I want you to interview me about some of the failures I had or some of the successes I had back when I was in high school. Then take that language, that storytelling, and bring it into your marketing. I guarantee you that will 10x what you're doing right now. It will make you far, far, far better than what you're working on. Now, if you want to actually see how I do this, next Wednesday at noon Central, I'm running a workshop on Claude. I want to talk about how it writes blogs in my voice, how I infuse my voice into them, even though most of the blog is already drafted. By the time I sit down at my computer on Fridays, this is a Luma event, and I'm going to drop the link in the description, or I don't know, maybe in the caption, actually. If you can make it, I'd love to have you there. Either way, I hope you find this helpful, and I hope that your AI content goes to a new level.